And they're listening to these programs all over the world.
That is incredible. I have been hearing about you being on in Greece. What is going on in Greece? It's almost as if, Greece is all okay, it's fine now. We don't hear anything from them.
Well, first of all, they are going to go bankrupt. It's a question of when. And they'll default in their debt, and they will issue a new drachma currency, and they will leave the euro, and they'll have to clean their house up. And I think that's the best way out for them. Why should they pay back these bankers who created money out of thin air and lent it to them as a government when they should have never lent it in the first place? So the bankers should eat the debt. That means the bankers are going to go bankrupt. Well, that's tough. And we've got all the pigs over there. There's 20 nations on the verge of bankruptcy, which includes the United Kingdom and the United States. And it's irreversible. I mean, right now, the European Central Bank, that said they never do it, they are buying toxic waste, MBS, collateralized debt obligations that these banks are holding, and they're inventorying them just like the Fed. The Fed just bought $1.2 trillion worth that we know about. I mean, what they've done otherwise that we don't know about would be of great interest, but they're not going to tell us. This sword works both ways. It has two edges on it. And when they refuse to tell us what they're doing, we can expose it, and they can't even defend themselves because they've painted themselves into a corner. I mean, this is going nowhere but bad.
No kidding. Do you think it's going to go to $7 a gallon gas?
No. I don't think they're going to get cap and trade passed. I really don't. No matter what they've done, too many people know what they're doing.
Yeah, too many people know. Let me go to Richard in Alabama. Too many people know, but that's not going to stop them, I don't think. I just see chaos for the next few months. Richard in Alabama.
How about for the next 5 or 10 or 15 years?
Yeah. Richard in Alabama, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, with Bob Chapman.
Bob, let's go back to 1939 and that conflict between Poland and Germany. And I just want your opinion. In terms of the territory seized and people killed, who was the greater aggressor? Was it Poland or was it Germany?
Oh, it definitely was Germany, and I'll tell you why they did it. They had just made the von Ribbentrop Pact in 1938-39, and they knew Russia, the Soviet Union, wanted to sweep into Eastern Europe. And, of course, Germany, one of the propaganda pieces was Lebensraum, which is land to live and land to grow and land to prosper in, and then Germany said they didn't have enough land. In fact, a lot of people in Russia and in Croatia and other places came from Germany and settled there. But the point here is that the Germans, knew the Russians were going to attack. And so they just beat them to the punch. And the Germans were the aggressors. There's no question.
All right.
Refugees from recently seized Polish territory in Prussia.
What about them?
Is that a question or comment?
Isn't it true that Germany was being flooded with German refugees fleeing from recently annexed Polish territory?
Okay, I fail to see the nexus here.
Generally speaking, that's not true, but it was later on as the Russians swept down because they knew they were going to become victims, and they did become victims of the Russians.
Poles did not expel Germans from the recently annexed territories.
I don't know about that,
okay,
sir.
what is your reason for asking this? Richard,
well,
where are you going?
He's older than me, And he's a military intelligence background, and he probably knows a lot of stuff.
Well, okay, but that's, history is not our issue today, though. But thank you very much for the phone call. Let me go to Annette in West Virginia. We only got a limited amount of time. Annette in West Virginia, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
I wanted to check with a clarification regarding a comment that you made, Joyce, and now I've got a second comment with regard to a statement made by Mr. Chapman. The first thing is you were talking about the obelisks and the occult. The children of Joseph, who became king of Egypt after Pharaoh, he was very prominent, and the Egyptians built obelisks to his two children, Ephraim and Manasseh. And Ephraim and Manasseh were the birthright tribe of Israel, and they settled Britain and the United States. And that's why Manasseh was number 13, and Ephraim was number 12. And that's why 13 is in our heraldry, in our flag and everything else. And I just want you to know that there has been a distortion of history. Germany did not start the wars. What had happened is the Germans were being persecuted in the Danzig-Karat corridor. And so Germany was forced to react to that. But this is all part of the plan. In other words, these situations are created so people will react. It was just like with Britain and Germany. Germany did not bomb England first.
Okay, but all right, we're getting way off the topic, though. Did you have a comment you want? I know you're right, and I know you know all of this information, but is there a comment you wanted to make about what Bob Chapman said?
Well, because there was a little distortion created here. England bombed Freiburg in Germany first.
Okay. I understand. What is this related to what Bob is saying today?
Well, it's the whole picture of the conspiracy.
Okay, we know the conspiracy. We know it's real. All I was doing by mentioning that was that he deals with other issues in his newsletter. It was not a desire to want to open up that area of conversation. I do apologize. Do you have a question for Bob?
Well, I'm getting his newsletter. I'm just starting it, so I really don't have a question now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the phone call. And there are so many people. Oh, by the way, give your phone number to, there are a couple of people that really want to talk to you off air. Give your number to John, if you would, please, and I'll pass it on to you if you want to give these people a call. Thank you very much, Annette. Let's go to Kurt in Iowa. Kurt, you're on the air. Go ahead, please. Hello, Kurt. Do you have a question or comment for Bob Chapman?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
For Bob. You talk about the United States going bankrupt, and it's my understanding that we've been bankrupt since like the 1930s. How do we go bankrupt twice?
In name only.
Good question.
In name only. I mention that because most people don't know what you know, and you're probably in a minority of perhaps less than 5% who realize the real historic economic and financial history of what's transpired. So I say we're bankrupt. Now, if I say we've been bankrupt since 1933, I have to explain the whole thing, and we really don't have time to go into that. And I do sometimes cover those things in the International Forecaster.
Okay. Thank you very much for the phone call. What do you see as far as the BP disaster? Let's speculate here just a second, because we know that the worst case is it's end of the world. Best case is, hey, we've had oil spills before, it'll be taken care of, and everything will be fine and we'll be back to normal. What are your thoughts on this?
At the rate that they're going, the answer is no. I believe that they could do things to stop what's going on. Whether they'd be successful or not, I really don't know, because I'm not an expert in that field. The blasé attitude of those who are involved would lead you to believe they're in no hurry to fix anything. And, of course, they want cap and trade passed so they can tax us, just like the Medical Reform Act has 19 new taxes in it. And it's to pay for all these wars and to fund not only the wars but the social programs which they create like Topsy. And so I really don't think they're going to be successful. I might change my mind on that, but the way it looks right now, they've just blundered through this whole thing. I really don't think that they expected to have the catastrophe that they've got on their hands.
Okay. Do you think that this is going to lead to some kind of Armageddon? I
don't know. All I know is it's not going to be good. It'll be a year before they get it cleaned up, if then. There's so many unanswered questions. I'm just not in a position to answer most of them.
Okay, we'll be right back. I know we're not experts in this area, and we think that maybe the experts ought to be doing something. Isn't that what a concept? We'll be back, and Doris in California, you'll be up next.